Damn, I just realized I was muted. That's so embarrassing. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Today we're going to be talking about creators, right? We're going to be talking about why you've probably heard of this phrase called the creator economy. We'll talk about what exactly is that. What exactly is the creator economy? And is it just some weird thing that VCs are into? Or is it something that you can actually do too? And when I say you, I mean maybe you are a designer, maybe you make videos, maybe you are a developer, maybe you are somewhere along those lines where your main work is creation. It is creating something new. We'll be talking about how you can participate in the creator economy and what exactly that creator economy is. Is it just a buzzword or is it something practical that you can actually do today? Right? We're going to be talking about that. So the reason I was prompted or tempted, let's say, to do this session is there is this very viral post going about. Okay, I'm going to show you what exactly it is. Okay, let me give you some more background about this. So I made this tweet today, right? And we'll talk a little bit about this, which is if you spend some time on Twitter, you've probably noticed that there is a lot of discussion about how tech hiring has become very difficult, right? Just today, Let me see if I can load this up, right? I think it was Bharat Pay. Let me show you this. Bharat Pay to developers is offering BMW bikes and a T20 World Cup vacation to engineers, right? Imagine that. I'm going to talk about why exactly that is and how this is not really specific to it's not really specific to engineers, how this same trend is coming to a lot of different fields. So let me just open this up, okay? I'll show you this officially so you know I'm not making this up. Tech.bharatpay.com. Chalo, let's go to tech.bharatpay.com. This is a trend that I want to talk about, right? This, although is developers, the same thing is happening to designers as well as other creators. And I'll talk about what that trend exactly is. But Bharat Pay is offering, number one, of course, salary, culture, lots of fun. You're like, hey, everybody does this, right? Doesn't everybody offer this? But yo, check this out. Bharat Pay is talking about how you should be joining, right? They are talking about how their ESOPs are actually a better option, about how they actually do buybacks too. And check out the perks. Crication, work from Dubai during the T20 World Cup. BMW bike, right? Pick a super bike, your choice. And this is for people who are joining. This is made as a part of their joining bonus. Yako. This is a part of that joining bonus, right? You can actually choose a super bike or you can choose all of these gadgets, including like cycles and a bunch of gear. What exactly is happening here? A lot of you might be thinking, is it because engineers are crazy in demand? Is it a bigger trend that's happening, right? Today, it seems to be that that's all Twitter is talking about, right? This clearly has caught people's attention, right? In the end, this has, even if a lot of the people don't end up joining, this has been a crazy way to get people's attention, right? It's a crazy joining bonus, right? This is Varun's tweet, me after seeing Bharat Pay offering super bikes. So what I want to ask, so I know that a lot of my audience, people here, a lot of you are designers, a lot of you are engineers, a lot of you are thinking about what field should I enter. And of course, when you see this, development does seem like a very crazy field. And it definitely is. If you're interested in being a developer, and if you think that is the kind of thing that you would enjoy, you should absolutely do it, right? This is an amazing time to be a developer. The same thing, however, is coming to design too, which is today it's very, very difficult to hire designers, right? Although there's been no viral studies like this, I'm going to show you a few examples of design hiring, right? I'm sure all of you have seen this, right? This was Zeta's report. They did a survey about how much exactly designers earn, right? So this was 0 to 2 years of experience. I loaded this up so I can show you guys. 3 to 5 years, between 12 and 61, right? 200 participants. This was a survey that they did. You can find the full results. 6 to 10 experience, 7 lakhs. Anyway, let me jump forward to 15 plus experience. Although there were only 12 participants, people making crores, right? People making crores. And let me just tell you, this is true for designers. This is true for developers. It is going to become more and more true for anybody who is a creator. How do I define a creator? It is a role where you are responsible with some amount of creativity to create something new, right? That is actually very different from a lot of other types of jobs. Let's say if you were in any other role, okay, you might not be creating new stuff as much, right? A lot of roles out there are pure management roles, which is you are managing, you are, given some task and you're responsible for just making it through. Today, creators have a crazy demand in the market, right? I when I say creators, one thing I really want to clarify is when we look at when we think of creators, we typically think of people like YouTube creators, YouTubers, right? And YouTubers are definitely creators, right? They are creating content. However, one thing that people have realized, one of the reasons startups are really, really looking for talented developers and designers is the way this scales up, the creator economy, right? Again, I am not generalizing here. I'm just going to give you one specific example. The way you get more creators on board is usually through tech, right? Today, another trend that's happening is startups are finding it easier to raise money, at least the really good ones. There is, again, I am not a VC, so I can't 100% say this, but it seems to be that founders today have more power than investors. Why? Because there is an overflow and abundance of capital, right? This is just from what I've heard. Again, you can do your own research around this. But the market is crazy competitive right now, and it's not just because of developers, right? If you want to really trace this out, right, I'm going to give you a way that you can imagine, that you can actually visualize this. And we are switching to the iPad, okay? Things are about to get real when the iPad comes out. Let's see. Let me open this up. I'm going to show you a quick model to help you visualize this, right? And then we'll talk about my tweet that I posted today. Okay, chalo, let's talk about this. So, devs, crazy salaries, right? Crazy demand. Designers, similar crazy demand. Although today it seems to be like there is a little bit more demand for devs than designers, but keep this in mind, it's a very, very crowded market for both of these. Now, the way to visualize this is, think about the market. Let's talk specifically about India. And I hope you're able to see this. Okay, let's talk about the market alone. Just think about 2015, which is just a couple years ago, versus think about now 2021. The number of users, internet users in India has skyrocketed, right? We all know that this is because of geo and a bunch of other factors, right? But what's happening now is more and more Indians are participating in the internet, right? In general, it's that. When I say participating, of course, a lot of it is consumers, right? Devs, guys, this is developers, engineers. A lot of people are consumers, right? You have people who are ordering now more food online than they ever used to before. It's not just Domino's, it's every kind of thing. You have Zomato, which went IPO, right? You have Swiggy, which is doing way better than before. You've got things like Uber, right? You've got, of course, shopping and e-commerce. In general, consumers are definitely going up. Why? Because the market is getting bigger. You might have heard of this term called NBU, right? Although this is not exactly the same thing, but NBU is a term that's used, I guess, more in the Valley, although here too, which is, it refers to the fact that we have a lot more people going to join the internet soon. It refers to the next billion users. It refers to places like India, Southeast Asia, and a lot of developing economies, right? So the next wave is NBU. You might also be surprised to know YouTube I'm going to ask you all a question, right? Let's say if you guys can guess this. If you look at the YouTube users, right, you have a bunch of them from the US, a bunch of them from India, you have a bunch of them from other cities. Do you know what percentage of users are actually Indian? Meanwhile, let me just highlight some comments. What's up, folks? What's up? Good to see you all here. Yeah, I'm just seeing this as well. I don't know why the iPad says 9:41 and 9th Jan. But yes, this is live. This is not happening on 9th Jan. This is happening right now. No code, yes. No code is definitely another no code, and in fact, crypto. I don't know if we'll be able to talk about this today. Okay. But no code and crypto play a big role in this too. Right. But anyway, what I want to say is YouTube. India currently, I don't remember the percentage, okay, but India currently is the second largest audience on YouTube already, right? This is again, I might be wrong on this, right? This is something that I came across very recently, a couple of days ago, but India is now the second largest country on YouTube, right? So in general, what I'm trying to say is there's a lot more Indian users coming. The market for products is increasing, right? And a lot of it is consumers, right? In general, you do a lot more using the internet now. As the market increases, the number of startups will also increase. Think about this. When the market is smaller, right? When you have less, this is just a simple mental model, which is as the number of people on the internet increase, the utility, the kinds of things you would want to do on the internet also increases, right? This also comes down to network effects. Like a lot of products become better as more people start using them, right? Although that's not something we're going to talk about today. But in general, as the market is increasing, right, all of this stuff happening, which is next billion users, consumers going up, the number of startups is also increasing. Now you have a lot of startups that are catering to use cases that you had never imagined before. So let me give you a few examples of this, right? You have startups like Misho, which are doing amazing, really good. What does Misho do? It lets more people make money on the internet. That might sound vague, but with Misho, a lot of housewives, a lot of students as well, a lot of people who are sitting at home can make their own online shop. And Misho also helps you on the back end provide the products that you can sell. Misho is now, I think, after their last fundraise, is now a unicorn. Right? Misho is doing amazingly well. One of the startups to really look out for. You have startups like Dukan, right? Which is, as Indian businesses, another big thing that has accelerated this has been the thing we all know, right? More and more regular folks, like people who didn't really think of themselves as online people, right? Local shops, people, our parents are like, let's say tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, a lot of them are now realizing that our offline business has been affected. So there are startups like Misho, for example, that are now helping you do that. But there's also companies like Dukan, which help you really set up online stores. This is just to give you an example, right? And let me actually just screen share since I am talking about these. These are just some examples to show you how the Indian market is expanding and you're finding these more uniquely Indian products that are coming up, right? It's a social commerce platform, Misho. Let me just see, what was their last fundraise? valued at $2 billion, right? That's huge. You have companies like Dukan, which are also doing really well, right? Which is online stores. You've got companies like Animal. Animal actually raised funding recently. Um, in fact, we have one designer from 10K Designers who works at Dukan. Somebody at Misho too, if I'm not wrong. I don't remember. But Animal, you guys might really be surprised. I don't know why Google is being sus with me today, asking me to. So Animal is, you guys are gonna, if you haven't heard of this already, you're gonna be really surprised. But anyway, they raised about 6 million very recently. And this is their product. आसपास के पशु, स्पेशल पशु, आसपास में पशु बेचना है जी बिल्कुल, right? This is some insane UX, right? I love this. Like, this is so uniquely Indian. Like, it directly just jumps into this chatbot thing. Now, of course, this has also been designed for mobile web, so that's one of the reasons. But what I'm trying to say is, we're getting into tier 2 and tier 3. There are a lot of these kind of purely Indian made for India products, right, which are now coming up. But in general, what this means is internet proliferation is increasing. It's not just the number of internet users, but it's the kind of things that they do, right? Let's come back here. So you have all of this stuff happening, but with this, another thing that's happened is remote, right? A lot of companies are now open to hiring remote. Not that they weren't before. It's just they realize if my whole team is anyway remote, right? Why not hire people in other countries? So you have global startups looking to hire international talent, right? So when all of this happens, another thing we have is crypto, right? And I will connect this here, which is cryptos. They are, in general, crypto companies in general, they work on more of a pseudonymous model, right? A lot of those companies absolutely do not have physical offices. But with crypto, what's also interesting is the team. You get paid in tokens as well as, let's say, stable. So like, let's say USD or USDC. But when you get paid in tokens and when you join a crypto company, what that means is you get a lot of that upside, right? So a lot of people are now joining crypto. So in general, an expanding market means more startups. And now what this needs, the main thing that powers startups is talent. But what is the talent doing, right? Why is it still so hard, right? India has engineers. Well, a lot of the talented folks are deciding that, hey, I am going to work in crypto. A lot of them are deciding, I don't want to work for Indian companies. I'm just going to work globally remote. A lot of them are realizing, hey, I just want to do freelance. A lot of them are realizing, hey, I can do my own startup, right? Why should I have a role at a big startup when I can just do my own startup? And they are starting up. So they're building their own tools, right? They're building their own SaaS. They're building their own side hustles. This brings me to this tweet that we were talking about earlier. Which is one of the reasons why this wasn't really true before, is so far, if you wanted to build your own thing, the risk that you needed to take to build your own thing was really, really high. Now that risk profile is sort of dropping, right? I know so many people who are building their own SaaS, they're building their own tools, they're building their own side hustles. I'm also on that path, right? I have been sharing You can check out the previous video we made about how much designers make. But I've got this thread here as well. Oops. Where I talk about how it's getting easier and easier to make money on the internet as a solopreneur, right? A solopreneur is a solo entrepreneur, right? And I have a bunch of ideas here. If anybody's interested in doing these, definitely check this out, right? But what, in general, the trend that's happening, and there's a lovely book about this as well that I would recommend people check out. It's called Company of One. I'm sure a lot of you have read this, right? Company of One, why staying small is the next big thing for business. What this means is a lot of these startups, the teams, on an average, the team size needed to build something that is actually profitable, monetizable, is dropping. Earlier, what you might have needed, let's say, hundreds of engineers to build, with automation, with things like no code, with a lot of the tech advances that are happening, the average team size is actually dropping. So a lot of people are working on their own stuff, right? Anyways, overall, the point that I'm trying to make, right? And this video, I would say, is a bit of a continuation from this other one, right? If you are interested, you should definitely check this out. Let's go to videos. Salary versus freelance versus others. How much can you make? And the point is, it's getting easier and easier to actually build something of your own. Where in the past, it would have been a very risky thing for you to actually quit your job, to actually be a creator online, right? Or to actually launch something. Today, it's becoming very easier. Even if you're not doing it solo, today, one designer and one developer, a single team of one designer, one developer, can do a lot more than they could 5 years ago, right? Something that you would have needed a team of 10, 20 people for back in the day. Now, team size is getting smaller, right? So in general, what I would want you to take away from this video is the future does belong to creators, right? When something like this happens, as the market increases, the number of startups increases, the need for really good talent increases, but you have an option now, right? You as a creator. Now, again, I'm using the creator a little loosely, right? Here, when I talk about, I'm talking about very skilled creators, right? Designers, developers, even video editors, storytellers, that is coming, right? Although it's devs now, it's engineers which are highest in demand. Designers are next, already high in demand, but we're going to see the exact same thing within the next 1 or 2 years. It's never been a better time to be a creator, right? Today, this expanding market also means that people are more ready to spend money online. Do you all remember how back in the day, actually you might not remember this, but your parents were scared of even putting their credit card online, right? Versus the generation that is now growing up. You might be a part of that generation. I sort of am a part of that generation. We grew up with an internet where we would pay for stuff, right? Or in general, our acceptance or our willingness to pay for things online is increasing. So what exactly does this mean for you? It means you have a bunch of options, right? You have a bunch of options now. These options, option number one, fast growth startups, right? You can totally join a place that gives you equity, which is ESOPs. And as long as they have an amazing team, this is an amazing option to go for, right? Today it's designers and devs, but startups are looking for creators who can really, really help them, right? In fact, this is a side note, but when companies are raising money now, a lot of them are getting creators on the cap table, which is creators are becoming investors. Like I can give you an example of Avalon, which I am an investor in. Their cap table not only does it include VCs, right? Not only do they have VCs and angels, but they also have creators who are funding this. People like Raj Shamani, Prakhar, me, a bunch of other people. I think Tanmay, for example, as a creator, is also investing in a lot of startups. So fast growth startups, that's an amazing option you have. Second is contract work, which is in general another trend that you and I are going through in this generation, is that we don't want a job for life. We want, let's just call it multiple projects or multiple income streams, right? This is already exists today. A lot of people doing this, but in general, the trend is moving more towards this, right? So what this means is things like freelance, working for crypto, right? A lot of you are familiar with DAOs, although if you're not, I'm not going to explain it here. But a lot of the future looks like contract work. But in general, if you're a creator, one of the things you should be focusing on is actually growing your distribution channel, right? And maybe I'll talk about this more. The reason I don't really talk about this so much is most of the audience here is designers, and I don't know if you guys care about this enough. But as a creator, as long as you have some distribution channels, which is maybe you have a good YouTube audience that you're growing, maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's Instagram, LinkedIn, your newsletter, you will have more and more options to monetize your audience, right? And within the next 5 years, you will very likely be at a point, right? As long as you have a good distribution channels, you will be at a point where you can actually make a full-time income as a creator, right? Some ways you might be able to do this could be by building SaaS, building tools, right? Collaborating with maybe a developer, or maybe you're already a developer. And the way you could be doing this is by things like cohorts or education in general, right? Another way you could be doing this is freelance and consulting. Some of the higher value creators, you will have the opportunity to invest in companies, right? You can of course do brand collabs, right? But in general, what this means is it's not just YouTubers and creators that are doing this, right? Like you might be thinking, all of this doesn't seem like a good fit for me. It feels like I am not really a YouTuber type of person, right? You will have a lot of things like podcasts and channels. We are already seeing a rise in the number of channels, right? YouTube channels started by people who are practitioners, who are not YouTubers first, who started as something else, and now they're doing YouTube on top of it, right? So this is a crazy time, right? If this is the kind of stuff that you're interested in, I'm going to leave a few resources that you can check out, right? One of them is by Paki, called The Great Online Game. I don't know why I keep getting this. I'm not a robot. I don't know why YouTube thinks I am a robot, but I would strongly recommend checking this out. Okay, called The Great Online Game. It's by Paki McCormick. But this gives a great insight into what exactly the creator economy, how it connects to DAOs, right? Basically, what it says is the great online game. It means the more of a distribution channel you have, right? Whether that's your Twitter, YouTube, you start a podcast, you can use that to find other people you can collaborate with, right? Anyways, I'll leave this up to you, right? But in general, companies are hiring via the internet, right? Nobody's going to come to campus when they can just find amazing talent online. People are making friends via the internet, right? People are finding opportunities via the internet. You probably did not hear about me through the physical world first. You probably heard about me and this channel through the internet, right? So this is one that I would definitely suggest you check out. If you're interested in reading a book around this, Company of One is good. Personally, I found Company of One a little too basic. Like a lot of this stuff I already knew. But if you're a total, like if you want a good perspective of how this is happening, this is a great book to read. One thing when I first read this book, right, I was like, this is great, but India mein to nahi hone wala ye. That was my first sort of this thing. Where I was like, all the examples in this are also very US centric examples. So I was like, dude, this is crazy, but I don't know if I actually believe this. But one thing we have seen is that it's more likely that stuff like this happens in India than everywhere else, because with the internet now, it's almost like the creator economy. It's growing almost at the same pace in every country, right? So this growing market, growing number of users means that India is actually an amazing place to be doing something like this. Another final thing that I'll share, right? And after that, we maybe wrap this up, is, let's see if I can find this. I did a video on a different channel, a friend's channel, on Remote Indian, I think. This is a great video that I would suggest, if I can find it. This one, being a sovereign creator with Abhinav, right? This was something I did 5 months ago. It's not even that popular yet, but this was, I think, maybe the first time where I talked about stuff like this, right? I think this is a very interesting video for people who are super into this. We talk about how we're getting into the age of the sovereign individual. I will say this, if you're into this kind of stuff, sovereign individual, crypto, about how the future, the direction of the future is heading, you should probably check out Abnux 2, where that's almost all that's about, right? So this is a great video to check out. But in general, when it comes to the creator economy, again, I don't want to overload you with resources, so don't try to cover everything. But Lee Jin, who used to work at Andreessen Horowitz, if I'm not wrong, and now runs her own VC firm, has a bunch of amazing stuff when it comes to creator economy. However, I think personally, I didn't find it as useful, right? I was like, again, this doesn't seem like very relatable to me, but a lot of people actually found this really good. The passion economy, aka the creator economy, some really good posts to check out. So anyways, let me know if you find this useful. The reason I don't talk about this is because I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are not really interested in this. But then given the speed at which we're moving, it's just a matter of time before a lot of people get into this. Okay. So if somebody can actually put the links in Discord, that would be great. If you can just post it in the general channel, that would be awesome. Right, this is our Discord right here. Anyways, that was about it for today, right? A bit of a different video, right? I hope this is useful to you, whether you are more of a, even if you think, personally for you, what you want is just a job. I don't mean just a job, right? A job is an amazing thing if you have an amazing team. But my guess is, if you are the generation that grew up on the internet, so am I, but if you think about it, technically, I got the internet very late, right? My generation, dude, I'm not that old. I'm in my late 20s, but I feel like I didn't really grow up with the internet. I was maybe in eighth grade or seventh grade when I probably started using it. But my guess is, for a lot of you who grew up with the internet, you've sort of intuitively by yourself realized that there is a lot of value in having an audience, having a good distribution channel, right? Not only for getting jobs, but for meeting new people and for finding these new kinds of opportunities. You probably have some sense of that as well. My guess is also that a lot of you want to do your own thing, but don't really want to go raise money and do a startup. Don't want to really do high risk type of stuff. You are exploring what are the different ways I can make money on the internet in a legitimate way, right? There's definitely a lot of make money online kind of videos. A lot of them are kind of useful, right? I was totally into that kind of stuff when I was younger. But that's my guess, right? Let's see how this plays out. I will try to make more videos about this if there is an interest. But till then, thank you for watching. All right. This has been a very interesting thing for me. I love talking about stuff slightly outside design, right? I, of course, love talking about design, but stuff slightly outside design, I love that too. We will try to share the links. It'll be on Discord. Check that out. And again, I'm very excited about this future, right? It sounds corny to say, oh, the creator economy, bro. And you know, I still find it a little cringe when people say that we're in the creator economy. But the this decade specifically, within the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, is going to look nothing like the decade before it. And I'm very excited to see what role you and I play in this new future. Leave a comment on this video, right? I want to see if you're interested in this and what you found. Whoa. What did you find whoa about this video, right? Not just, oh, interesting, but what did you find whoa, if anything, about this video? Let me know in a comment, right? And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.